And then sing of Zambia, proud and free, land of work and joy in unity. We treasure the struggle for the right. We won freedom's fight. Praise be to God. Bless our great nation. Free men we stand under the flag of our land, Zambia. Praise to thee, all one strong and
thank everybody for the very warm and friendly welcome that we've received. I'm going to say a few words about commodities and supplies with the global message which has come from the UN Population Fund recently in recosting the need for sexual and reproductive health services and the commodities that are necessary to support those services, estimating that probably something like double the current funding is going to be necessary if the need that we understand globally is to be met. Briefly on the role of purchasing and procurement of these commodities. We have seen some examples of single suppliers being used in services in Zambia, which may not always offer the best value for money or be in the best interest of service providers. Best value is crucial given the situation of unmet need which I've described. And this will mean competitive approaches to getting the best value for money, including in some cases where appropriate, looking at products which may be out of patent and therefore much cheaper. This may in some circumstances be less profitable for the manufacturers back in donor countries, but that should not be the key consideration. This is a message which many of us will want to take back to our own governments, raise with them and with the EU.
This was my first visit to Zambia, and it was great to be here to see things. And one thing we wanted to particularly look at was how people and families and individuals themselves can make choices about their own planning their families. And while you have a good network here in the country in terms of accessibility, we were concerned that the choices that individuals might want to make, particularly youth and particularly women, mightn't be as included as possible. And we were pleased to see initiatives here through Youth Vision Zambia and other organisations like that youth and women are being more included, and that I think is going to be vital, because ultimately what we're concerned, as indeed I'm sure the Zambian government and the Zambian people are concerned, about the delivery of the Millennium Development Goals, and a clear policy on family planning and sexual health is vital to that. And that is one thing we would love to see is the adoption of the sexual health policy here. It's draft at the moment and delivered as a full-blown policy, official policy, and that's one thing we certainly would urge.
Also in the Netherlands, like here, it's people and it's money. And the people we've been talking about, I talked about a little how we also in Parliament talked about the brain drain. I can see that you want to keep your healthcare personnel also in the rural areas, make it attractive for them to stay there and do their work there. But for us it's a responsibility to keep your healthcare personnel in the country. Don't make it attractive for them to work in Europe or somewhere else. So no brain drain from here. That's a responsibility for our countries, I think. What unites us, I think, in Europe and here, and it has come across during this session, is the Millennium Development Goals. We are all people of the same universe, and we all have the same rights to good health care. A lot of the Millennium Goals are on health care, so let that unite us.
In Livingstone, a guy from a local staff of PPS said interesting idea. Said that it's too easier to have sex in this country than to talk about it. And the place there we have to discuss it, it's the educational system, school. And they showed us the textbook about the healthcare, about the sexy issues and other things. And it's my observation that the Minister of Education and the Minister of Health in this issue have to be equal, 50-50. And fortunately, we were informed that the role of the educational system and Minister of Education is quite high. And in Choma, they informed us about their permanent links with the schools.
Nation, donor nation, we like to cooperation, work together with Zambia and other nation here in Africa to make a difference, for the civil society, to make a difference for the people here in the Zambia. And we want also the Parliament and your government to include the Millennium Goals in your job here. We're thinking this is the best way to go on and give the people the best way to more health care and best education in the future. So thank you a lot to invite us. Thank you.
What I'm here to do is to study how these services are delivered in economies which are not as rich and as successful and as well developed as our own, because we understand that without proper birth control and without control of the disease, we are going to have more problems, not less problems. Now, I think what we shall all be doing when we get back to our individual parliaments is first of all to talk to other people who think along the same lines. I'm sure we will all be reporting back to the committees from which we've come. But apart from that, I think there are other things we can do. I can talk to ministers. I can raise a debate in the House of Lords. And I'm sure that all my colleagues here can do similar things in their parliaments. So I want you to try and be confident that we're not going to go back and just forget what we learned. We're going to try and make something positive and effective. Now, it's not going to be huge effects, but if you can just nudge things a little bit in the right direction, in the end, you're going to be doing better. Thank you so much, everybody in Zambia, who was so kind to us, so amusing, so intelligent, who took us above all to the Victoria Falls, which I shall never forget in the whole of my life. And we've had a wonderful tour. Thank you very much indeed.